Last week we had the 5-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook massacre, and I have some very disturbing numbers for you. Since Sandy Hook, nearly 1,000 kids under the age of 12 have died from guns in the U.S. 994 to be exact. They say NBC News was able to identify 994 children under the age of 12 who were killed by guns between December 15, 2012, the day after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, and December 12th, 2017, because that was, I guess, the anniversary, 5-year anniversary. That's really hard to wrap your mind around. It's been 5 years and nearly 1,000 kids under the age of 12 dead because of gun violence in the U.S. The overall number should fucking shake you to your core. According to the CDC, total gun deaths from Sandy Hook until now, 179,653. Guys, that's like, literally, if we nuked Guam, that's what that is. The population of Guam is about that number. So the number of gun deaths in Sandy Hook, it's like if we nuked Guam. It's also, another way to look at it, it's, I think, 3 times the U.S. war deaths in Vietnam. So we've had at least 3 Vietnams since Sandy Hook in the U.S. That's the number of people who have died. Now, to be clear, that number, 179,653, that includes suicides. But even if you say, okay, let's get rid of suicides, well, there's about 10,000 suicides. Oh, excuse me. There's about 10,000 homicides every year. So that's gun deaths that are not suicides. So then if you do 10,000 times 5, that's 50,000. So there's been about 50,000. That's about the number of U.S. soldiers that died in Vietnam. We've had a Vietnam in the U.S. since Sandy Hook. That's how many people have died from guns. And again, once you add in suicides, then that goes to 179,653. Because typically there's 10,000 homicides every year with guns, over 30,000 total gun deaths. So, listen, these are numbers that I think if you show any other modern country, they melt down and they go, well, we're obviously going to have to address this because this is a public health crisis. And they address it, whereas we don't. And you guys know, I think the only legitimate criticism of me on guns is from the left of me, because I think I'm a moderate on this stuff, where I say, hey, I'd ban high capacity magazines, and I'd do a real universal background check bill with strict standards that go hand in hand with it. And I do other small things like banning silencers, which have not been banned, having a waiting period, treating guns like cars almost. Have like a process that you go through before you get it. Do a gun buyback program to get rid of the guns that are like, that people don't want, that are just still in circulation. So in other words, not like banning them. I wouldn't ban guns. I would do these basic reforms. But I think the legitimate criticism of me comes from the people to the left of me, who are like, no, you don't go far enough. I don't consider the criticism from the right of me are like, so then what are you in favor of? Like whenever people criticize me from the right on guns, I think, okay, well, what's your answer? And I would at least have respect for the people who were open about it. And they were just like, you know what? Freedom, motherfucker. I don't care that these people die. Or I care, but not enough to do anything about the gun laws. If you say that to me, at least you're honest. And I can respect that. But it's the people who say, I want to do nothing, and oh yeah, by the way, we would be safer if we did nothing. Well, that's just fucking factually incorrect, or else we would already be really safe, but we're not. People are dying all the fucking time from guns. So at least be fucking honest about it. At least be honest and say, no, you're right. If we do gun regulation, obviously the number of gun deaths will drop massively, but I don't want to do it. But they're not honest. And then when you ask them, it's like they never thought about it. Okay, I know what I'm against. I'm against the big bad liberals and their fucking gun laws. But then you ask them what they're for. Because, listen, everybody's in favor of some regulation. It's just where you draw the line. So, somebody who's to the right of me on guns, what are you in favor of? Presumably, you wouldn't let a neighbor of yours who maybe has fucking paranoid schizophrenia have access to a nuclear weapon. Right? Well, is that, you've restricted my liberty and my freedom, man, by saying that. No, you haven't. That's just a fucking reasonable gun law. That's all that is. So you don't want them to have nukes. All reasonable people would say, yeah, we can't have nukes. You don't want people to have chemical weapons. You don't want people to have biological weapons. You probably don't want them to have anti-aircraft missiles or fucking tanks. So then it's just a matter of, we've established everybody's in favor of some regulation. So it's just, okay, well, where do you draw the line? And that is where the debate is, where the real debate is. But what's annoying is when people pretend like that's not the debate. That's not the debate we're having. No, that is the debate we're having. You just don't want to admit that, because once you admit that there is a line, then you have to determine where is it reasonable to draw the line. And that you don't want to do. All you want to do is talk about what you're against, not what you're for. All I know is I'm against the Democrats and I'm against regulating guns more. Well, what are you for? I know what you're against. What are you for? These people usually don't talk about it because they're too busy playing for a team to really think about what they're actually in favor of. So I don't know. This is just really sad. And again, not much coverage when, to me, these are the real scandals in America. 179,000 gun deaths since Sandy Hook, about 1,000 kids killed since Sandy Hook. Do we want to do something about this? And I feel like it's so easy to just dismiss it until it fucking affects you. Until it's your fucking kid or somebody you know. Then it's like, shit. Yeah, maybe we should have done something. Yeah, we should have fucking done something. And we haven't. And we live in a country where 93% of people want a universal background check system, and we still haven't gotten it. Because the Democrats don't fight, and because the Republicans block it, because they're bitches to the NRA and their donors. So it's just a sad state of affairs.